sightings have reached an all-time high.
This was something very phenomenal.
And eyewitnesses are pressing record.
This is extraordinary.
It's an experience that shatters belief.
I was trying to rationalize it and couldn't.
People who are seeing this stuff don't necessarily want to believe in UFOs, but they have no choice.
And leaves people traumatized.
It's hard to talk about that light. There's a huge element of fear.
Who's ever prepared to see a phenomenon like that?
A new era has dawned, where first-hand evidence reveals a shocking truth.
We are absolutely not alone.
We see nebulous orbs and glowing balls of light moving erratically.
I haven't recorded anything like this in my life.
These eyewitnesses know UFOs are real, because seeing is believing.
What's their purpose? Why are they here?
Guys, come here, look!
It changes how you perceive the world.
We stand on the precipice of uncovering the truth about UFOs, and maybe even the extraterrestrial beings that pilot them.
It's hard to accept what seems to be unacceptable.
When you listen closely, UFO encounters are all around us.
This is the UFO reporting center. We understand you saw something in the sky the other night.
Yeah, and I just glanced out the window because I noticed this bright, glowing object.
When someone sees something that is so out of their comfort zone, it's difficult to handle.
I don't know how to explain it. There's they are not airplanes. We know they're not airplanes.
These are life-altering experiences witnesses never forget.
I just saw something go whipping across the sky. I don't know what it was, but I'd like to.
A UFO event is reported every 8 seconds around the globe, and the number of sightings continues to grow every day.
I was just in awe of this flashing light in the sky. I actually felt terrified.
Behind each report, each number, there's a person shaken to their very core by what they've seen.
It's traumatic. There's a part of my story that has changed me.
UFO activity is escalating at such a rapid rate that by the end of our generation, we're going to be looking at a very different world where everyone knows the truth of UFOs, and that at some point we will have open official contact.
The front line of ufology is the average citizen. They're the boots on the ground, seeing these objects, and they are the starting point for researchers in this field.
I was born and raised in Fairbanks, Alaska. It's a small town, peaceful, quiet, nothing too much going on.
Alaska is the most northern part of the United States, and it's very remote compared to the rest of mainland America. You have this history of a lot of interesting UFO sightings.
Growing up, I've seen things here and there, flying through the sky really fast or something there and then disappearing. There's just a lot of mystery up here.
On an eerily quiet morning in the spring of 2016, Jared Augustine encounters his biggest mystery yet.
I work as a security guard. I liked working nights because it was peaceful, quiet. Just me, mosquitoes, birds, and wilderness. I live on patterns, so it was a pattern to go out at 3 o'clock. That's when I usually just walk around the building to make sure it's secure. I don't really expect anything to happen late at night. There's literally no one out. I looked up and I saw a bright light in the sky.
This first glance into the night sky will change Jared's life.
It felt like someone was shining a light in your eye. This was something very phenomenal.
The impact a UFO sighting has on an individual has to be one of the top experiences of their lives.
I knew it was something significant. I knew it was something special that was happening at this very moment. And that was pretty phenomenal.
Ordinary and unsuspecting people like Jared have been witnessing UFOs for centuries.
This is not anything new. People have been documenting sightings at least back to 1897.
The first well-documented backyard sighting happened in 1950.
Paul and Evelyn Trent were on their small farm outside of McMinnville, and they saw this saucer-shaped craft. Paul ran in and got his camera and took 2 photographs.
It's one of the first images that captures an alleged flying saucer. And it very much looks like the kind of typical flying saucer that has been cemented in our popular culture.
What really made these photos popular was the fact that Life magazine, they really led a sort of revolution, I think, in what we understood flying saucers and UFOs to be.
This is a UFO, popularly called a flying saucer.
New ideas and excited emotions grew as people turned their thoughts to the possibility of cosmic extraterrestrial life.
It exhilarated an entire generation that UFOs were real and they were here among us.
It was a bright blue object. It had a large body and it appeared to taper off.
Whether what they were seeing was, legitimately something otherworldly or just mythology, we don't know.
Don't you think it would be kind of unusual for a meteor to just fall across the road and hover over there a minute and then drop to the ground?
Humans have been telling stories about anomalous activities and paranormal activity for a very long time.
Nowadays, these mysterious crafts may look different, but they are revealing themselves to us with ever-increasing frequency, and they're being captured on film.
Today, we have orbs of light and sort of strange, anomalous, shape-shifting UFOs and tic-tac UFOs. UFOs themselves have changed as we've changed, as our technology's changed.
What's most shocking is how many of these mysterious lights are descending into our skies.
A very common sighting is a very bright light, what's often described to be an orb. You do not see structure or specific shape.
What are these lights? And why are we seeing them now more than ever?
It was a bright light. It was blinking. I was in shock because obviously this was not a helicopter. I kind of started running so I can get a better view of whatever it was in the sky. I was fumbling for my phone. I was like, I have the phone with me. Oh, what is that? Oh, you see that? Capturing something finally that I've actually talked about as a child growing up. Pretty surreal. I got a lot of hate for it. I recorded vertically, not horizontally. But that's due to excitement.
But excitement quickly turns to fear.
Oh, what is that?
Jared is overcome with the feeling that the UFO is getting closer.
When the orb dropped, I felt very creeped out. It felt like maybe something was coming behind me. And I was just like kind of hoping that at least someone else was there. And there was nobody. It's just me and this bright light in the sky.
Frozen in place, Jared waits for what might happen next.
When you're all alone and encounter something, there's no one that can help you.
It's something that triggers a sort of anxious response because we can't put into words what this encounter is.
Anything can happen.
The orb itself that was in the sky shot 2 more orbs. It did a triangle formation. I just kept staring at it in awe.
That's when you sit up and take notice. Something is separating from this craft. How do you explain that?
He's not alone. 5,700 kilometers south, a shocked family captures video of another mysterious orb splitting into multiple lights.
Is that a comet? Guys, come here, look!
This is clearly an unusual object. It's very hard to say what it is. All we know is this is an anomalous light of some kind.
The video then becomes quite dramatic when this large red ball begins to eject sort of smaller red balls below it or into the sky around it.
It's a situation that prompts panic.
What is that? What is that?
Is the object physically splitting in two? Is it expelling smaller craft?
Look at that. Do you see that?
The splitting doesn't seem to fit our physics.
I don't like that. Hey, I see it too!
Yeah, I don't like it either.
That's
I've never
scary.
seen nothing.
I do see it.
That's just so remarkable and so out of the ordinary. It does not fit into any of our conventional categories.
Not a drone, not a helicopter. It's nothing conventional as we would think of it. I can certainly tell you what it's not. What is it? That's a little bit more difficult.
When the first orb dropped, then I kind of knew it can't be a Chinese lantern. It can't be a drone. It can't be a helicopter. It can't be flares.
Just as Jared thinks the experience couldn't get any stranger.
Whoa, that moved really quick. Holy shit.
The incredible movements of the otherworldly craft leave Jared stunned.
My mind was blown. Like, what is happening? What is going on?
When that object suddenly drops, that moment takes your breath away because conventional aircraft really don't do that. As if you needed any more convincing, you know you're looking at something highly unusual.
Encountering a UFO is a life-changing experience that plagues its eyewitnesses.
I felt scared, but I actually felt terrified.
Haunted by what they've seen, these people's lives will never be the same again.
Any of us have this possibility to be moving throughout our day, and then we have this encounter with the unknown.
It can happen to anybody, just it doesn't happen to special people. It happens to the average Joe.
For Jared Augustine, it happened on a routine night shift when a mysterious light appeared in the sky. It's just the first surprise the UFO has for the man on the ground.
Whoa, that moved really quick. Holy shit.
The orb itself went from point A to point B just real quick, just real fast.
There seems to be incredible acceleration, stopping on a dime, and then accelerating to fast speeds once again.
With Army Base Fort Wainwright nearby, could this be a military craft?
I'm used to seeing helicopters fly around, jets fly in the sky, because they're very distinctive. I can tell the difference. Not really that hard when you grew up in a town like this all your life.
But this craft didn't sound like a jet or a helicopter. It didn't sound like anything at all.
It was quiet. No propellers. It was just quiet, blinking light. The only thing I sensed was just my fear.
When we see anything move at a high rate of speed, a car, a motorcycle, we expect the roar of that engine.
It's gone. It's fucking gone.
It just kept blinking, and then that's when it just shut off. It was just gone.
Fearful of ridicule, Jared is tight-lipped.
I only told my closest friends. To me, in my personal opinion, it was a UFO. But to the world, that's up to them.
A few hundred kilometers down the west coast, just outside Seattle, Tim Seymour's day at the beach is eclipsed by mysterious events in the sky.
It changed my mind about everything right then and there.
The Pacific Northwest is the second most active area for UFOs in the country. So people in the Seattle area are not strangers to UFO sightings.
But Tim Senor isn't one of them, and his skepticism is about to be shattered.
It's a very hard topic to get your mind to accept. I was raised in solid foundation in science and nature, and this was a whole new paradigm for my entire family. My story is hard for even myself to believe.
I think we're compelled to understand the world within our scientific framework, because that's the way we have come to know and understand the world around us in our modern age.
It's hard to talk about that light. So you may...
Okay, take your time.
It was a slightly overcast day. The whole family decided that they would take a trip down to the ocean side to experience the lowest tide of the year and do some scavenging and see if they could see anything that's usually underwater. My mom had her attention drawn to something that was in the sky just north of Seattle, and she pointed in the air and said, "Did you hear that?" I just kind of looked up towards where she was pointing, and my sister's oldest son pointed in the same direction and said, "Oh look, a saucer." My whole family was struck by an intense feeling. It was out of the ordinary.
All of a sudden, instead of seeing the sun or clouds, we see something else that normally isn't there. This is something that can be pretty haunting, and it can kind of frighten us.
I was trying to decipher what it was that I was looking at. It did look like a saucer-shaped object was just sitting static up in the sky. I attempted to capture that with my phone. It was a dull gray with two round porthole-looking objects in the upper right-hand quadrants. I can get emotional even thinking about it. Suddenly, my father saw something and he said, "Well, what's this down there?" It moved literally from one end of northern Seattle down to western Seattle within a breath. It was faster than something falling from the sky. It was faster than gravity. It's very odd. It's very, very odd.
Well, we can triangulate to the point where we know these things are moving in excess of several thousand miles per hour.
This for any aircraft would be impossible. So whatever Tim saw, if it's real, was definitely able to break a lot of laws of physics.
Alone with his family and vulnerable to whatever this mysterious object might be, Tim's mind reels.
This is a real thing, and I witnessed it. It feels traumatic because it's a new paradigm of thinking for me. It makes me not sure how to raise my own children. It has worn on my psyche quite a bit.
Astonishing footage of an unidentifiable possible alien craft maneuvering and rocketing through the air was also captured by unsuspecting friends one fateful afternoon in Beaver Valley, Utah.
They were using a drone to sort of hover over a forested area and take just, scenery and footage of sort of this natural environment. It wasn't until they were going over their footage that they noticed this white object flying by. The video, when it first came out online, went viral. It created a lot of buzz and traffic. The way the object flies in the footage is really what's convinced a lot of people to believe that it's a genuine UFO event. The speed at which this object would be traveling would be in the thousands of kilometers an hour.
A car goes from 0 to 60 in 10 seconds. These craft go from 0, thousands of miles per hour, in a split second. We were to do that, that would turn the pilot into jelly.
Back on the coast, the excitement and shock compounds as Tim Senor discovers that speed isn't the only mystery surrounding the UFO he spotted. Now, a second object comes into view.
I was like, oh, there's more than one. This is where the story takes a turn, and you're gonna have to suspend your disbelief and just take this as face value.
Every day, regular people all around the world are seeing horrifying events unfold before their eyes.
There's so much information, and it's all happening at once. My mind just goes, and I get tingly and emotional. I could cry right now, just thinking about it.
In that one moment, a lifelong foundation of beliefs can come tumbling down, along with any sense of safety or security.
Encountering a UFO is an uncanny experience.
You question everything that you thought you knew. You probably question your sanity.
I thought this must be a plane, this must be a reflection. Even seeing it, even witnessing it, it's too big a jump.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime glimpse into another world, maybe another universe of possibilities.
But what he witnesses next presents a possibility Tim Senor is not ready to entertain.
That's the hardest part of this story to tell. I'm sorry. To the naked eye, it appeared to be a three-dimensional white box. And through that opening, it appeared something either entered or exited through that white light.
Is this one object releasing another? Or is there perhaps a wormhole or a portal?
Portals are openings in the fabric of space, which allow you to move through time and space in a fraction of the time you would conventionally.
This is something that's coming out of nowhere, so this appears to be how UFOs sometimes travel.
And if they're letting us see them, the question is, why are they here?
I was trying to rationalize it and couldn't. I have far more questions than answers at this point.
South of the border, in Colima, Mexico, Alessa Estrada also encounters a surprise guest hovering over her building.
That was something amazing, something unusual.
The Colima area of Mexico is well known for two things. Its volcanoes and its UFOs.
UFOs are very much embedded into folklore within Mexican culture, from elders and telling stories and passing them down.
I am a biologist, I am a housewife, and also I am a sky watcher. It's my passion. I started watching the sky in the early 90s when there was a total solar eclipse here in Mexico.
Alessa's had her eyes turned to the sky ever since, waiting. But this time felt different.
I was doing shopping and I was returning when I saw a strange light. I quickly run inside my house and grab my camera and go to the roof and started filming.
Ahí está, es como una estrella, como un planeta.
I was excited, I was amazed, and I was so curious to know what could that be.
No se ha movido de su lugar.
Over 700 kilometers inland, a photographer in Mexico City captures another incredible and extremely unusual light fluttering over the bustling city.
This is very hard to explain as anything that's even remotely close to what we have.
The disturbing truth is that both UFO encounters took place within kilometers of some of Mexico's most explosive volcanoes.
So we often see UFO reports that tend to mass around mountains and other places of geographic significance.
Are these UFOs assessing danger? Are these recon missions the first step toward colonization of our planet?
Perhaps they're just studying this if we were to visit another planet. And in fact, that's what many researchers believe these UFOs are. They're scientists. It's very hard to determine exactly why, but it's pretty clear there is some sort of a connection there.
Whatever its purpose, the orb returns day after day, looming over the home of a captivated Alessa Estrada.
I saw it again. It was there in the same position in the sky.
Sí se está moviendo, eso no es un planeta. Y cumplió con su cita.
When you get a phenomena that is repeatable, that is highly significant, you could stand at that location another 50 years and never see anything again.
On day 4, Alessa hurries up to the roof for her now routine visit with the mysterious orb.
In the rush, I only took my camera to have more stability. I light and started filming it. After about 10 minutes, something miraculous happens. The object suddenly splits into many. I was absolutely amazed and I said, "Oh my God, what is that?"
When it starts breaking into 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces, it really catches your attention. You realize you're not looking at something ordinary here.
What follows is inexplicable. Alessa's sky watching takes on a truly bizarre edge.
My hands were shaking. This is extraordinary.
Wow, están haciendo un triángulo.
When these objects start displaying incredible maneuverability, it's almost like they're putting on a show. Perhaps there's meaning behind this? What are they doing? I mean, like, why are they doing this?
Incredible UFO sightings from Alaska to Mexico are being documented by eyewitnesses.
This really happened. It was absolutely incredible and undeniable.
It leaves them mystified with tough questions they can't answer.
What's their purpose and why are they here?
They were changing in the sky like something intelligent. I don't know what they are doing.
These objects are far, far in excess of any known technology. their speed, their maneuverability shows that this is definitely not anything made on Earth.
Oh, what is that?
So it points to a questioning of our science and the limits of modern rational thinking.
Look at that. Do you see that?
Just because we can't explain something doesn't mean we shouldn't put every effort we have into trying to understand it.
And the emotional implications run deep.
I did feel alone. I felt a little nuts saying some of the things that I was saying. You really do have to suspend your disbelief to be able to get through some of these stories, including my own.
Clearly what we have in these cases is one or two objects that suddenly become more.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
What is that? What is that?
It's very hard to understand what's going on here.
The orbs stay still in the sky, unaffected by wind, then move quickly and erratically with no smoke trail left behind, as if they are designed for deception.
An object is zooming across the sky from horizon to horizon at super high speeds. There is no craft we have, officially at least, that can do that.
The speed of the UFO captured by drone pilots filming scenery in Utah is hard to refute.
You have very high definition video footage. You're able to slow it down frame by frame to see what is happening. Whatever it was flew by the drone so quickly that no insect or bird could fly that fast.
The deeply troubling question remains, what could these unidentifiable objects be?
It's possible that we're dealing with some sort of weather phenomena that is unknown. A lot of people have claimed, for example, ball lightning is something that exists.
The phenomenon is described as bright spheres of light believed to appear during severe thunderstorms.
We also know that at times, depending on the amount of moisture, humidity in the atmosphere, the moon can create a secondary sort of image of a moon, a reflection. Much like the sun can create a sundog, the moon can create a moondog, basically.
But all the eyewitness sightings took place on clear days, with no storm in sight.
I don't think any weather forecasters were able to come up with an explanation on this either.
Even if natural phenomena were responsible for the unusual splitting seen across eyewitness videos, how can we explain the mysterious formations that follow?
They will form all these very interesting geometric shapes. They'll form long lines, perfect rows, all different types of shapes. And they're doing all these fantastic dances in the sky that almost look playful.
There's lots of splitting and then formations of triangles that have appeared after coming out of one single orb or one single craft.
That shape, that's not something random. That's something that knows what it's doing and has a pattern it wants to maintain.
Many things in our known skies fly in formation.
We're all used to seeing commercial or military aircraft going in very set patterns.
Kind of like we see geese flying across the sky in a formation. UFOs fly in formation as well. This, to me, displays an intelligence, control, and it shows that they're being piloted. It really begs the question, could this be us? The only thing that comes at all close are drones. While they do have the ability to form geometric formations, they can't do it at high speeds or in super large numbers or for a long period of time or silently. So I think the possibility that these are drones is very low.
And the truth is, we really don't know what these strange things in the sky are.
Nothing really seems to check all the boxes for a natural explanation.
And I think that's where that awe comes in. There's nothing that we know of within our ability of science of how that would happen, especially with our own technology. We don't have that.
I think extraterrestrial is the theory which best fits the facts as we see it, one that really accounts for the evidence.
If these craft are of extraterrestrial origin, Tim's sighting may hold the answer to how they arrived here and reveal shocking implications that could affect every person alive. Unidentified craft are looming in the skies over our homes and our communities. And for those who witness them firsthand, it is a paralyzing kind of fear, and often an emotional journey that can last a lifetime.
I actually felt terrified because it felt like maybe something was behind me.
It wouldn't be fair to keep it to ourselves. It's traumatic. My core beliefs have been changed, which is painful.
And these eyewitnesses are not alone. UFO encounters are happening in terrifying numbers. In 2020, more than 8,000 sightings were reported across North America, and many still go unreported for fear of ridicule.
We're moving through the motions of our life, and next thing we know, we look up and there's this magnificent thing that we've never experienced before.
For many, it's a traumatic, emotional, unwanted encounter.
People who are seeing this stuff don't necessarily want to believe in UFOs, but they have no choice.
Do I want to say I and my family witnessed a craft coordinating with spaceships from another planet? I'm not ready to say that. Did I photograph that? Yes.
And if Tim did capture the moment a portal appeared, the potential ramifications to Tim, his family, and every other person on planet Earth are incredible and terrifying.
There's a huge element of fear, personally, at least. That leads to such big questions.
I think, oh my gosh, here's a good example of exactly what some of these quantum physicists are talking about.
For generations, physicists have theorized that portals can be opened, wormholes, for which we can travel vast distances in space in very short times.
And this could be an actual concrete example of exactly what they're talking about theoretically.
If there are groups of beings traveling vast distances, they would create these portals, these tunnels, to get from planet A to planet B in maybe seconds as opposed to centuries.
It leaves us incredibly vulnerable as a species.
It shows that these ETs, if that's what we're dealing with here, are able to do things that we are not even close to being able to do.
These unidentified objects seem to be revealing themselves, showing what they're capable of to humans on Earth.
And if this is what they're doing, that's crucial information. That there is a technology being used that is way beyond our understanding.
If they can create a portal like this, if that's in fact what we're even seeing. What is going on here? What does this mean for us?
It could mean that they are already here.
Whoa.
Among us.
I believe it was a UFO of extraterrestrial origin coming to observe Earth, just gathering information as best as they can, is my guess.
If a group of individuals were trying to clandestinely study the human race, they would come in the cover of darkness with no lights on. The fact that these craft are blatantly maneuvering by a major city speaks volumes that they either don't care they're being seen or they absolutely want to be seen. And that's an aspect that's often too much overlooked.
Perhaps they're displaying or testing their own craft in some way. Perhaps they're trying to transmit some type of message to either each other or to us.
For Jared Augustine, the message came in flashes of light.
It was blinking like a light switch, like someone was turning the light off and on.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people who reviewed the video were saying it could be Morse code, just the way it was flashing at a different pace, different rhythms.
It's weird.
Most aircraft have a steady blinking light or a solid light, but this was a pronounced, brilliant pulsation. Very unusual.
I didn't even think it was communicating with me. I don't know, just something in my mind didn't want me to dig into that. I guess that would be the fear aspect.
Could there have been some sort of code in that pulsation? Possibly. But since we can't even say where this craft came from, how can we hope to decipher its code?
I just kind of let it be. Just let the world have it. Let them see what they want to say.
From rhythmic pulses of light to intricate formations, these orbs appear to convey a message we can't seem to crack. It's a riddle with chilling implications.
Maneuvers do have very specific meanings or perhaps a message to them. There could be a number of different reasons why they're doing this.
Is it a greeting or a warning?
What the end point is, I can't say, but this is not by chance.
Something very significant is going on here. Does this mean that UFOs could come here in very large numbers at some point without any warning?
It's hard to say. We need to put skepticism aside and become more open-minded because the evidence is becoming more overwhelming, more universal, and more undeniable.
Eyewitnesses have been sharing their incredible and personal UFO encounters for years. And for the first time, the world seems ready to listen and believe.
From a farming couple with a simple Kodak camera taking those McMinnville photos to state-of-the-art military technology, getting high-resolution video images. It's like the Wright brothers to the Apollo moon landing.
It's the first time that governments within the states have come forward and saying that they're taking UFOs actually seriously.
The mainstream is now looking at it with credibility. We've had this wonderful shift from ridicule and skepticism to this is a real scientific phenomena that we need to study and understand.
Everyone carries a camera in their pocket. People are much more able to record their sightings.
It's not just a witness saying, "Oh, I think I saw something." It's hard data we can now analyze.
We're going to see a lot more videos and photographs of UFOs appear on the internet and shared across various social media platforms.
People now are actually coming forward and wanting to talk about it and trying to find a community to share their thoughts.
This topic is becoming much more widely accepted. It changes how you perceive the world.
When you see that kind of phenomena, it's something out of this world, maybe, I don't know, something uncommon.
The biggest takeaway for me was that we don't have all the answers and that there is still a lot to explore.
Just as the lives of Jared, Tim, and Alessa have been changed by their UFO encounters, our population is stepping into a new era of exciting possibilities.
You have Elon Musk making claims that he wants to put people on Mars by the late 2020s. You have NASA preparing a Mars mission for the 2030s.
We have notable scientists and academics coming forward and saying that they're looking into extraterrestrials.
New instrumentation is being built. Satellites are proposed to go into space to try to detect these objects entering our atmosphere. Ground-based instrument clusters are studying the phenomenon. So we are bringing more technology to bear now than at any time in history.
It's an exciting time on the cosmic stage for our entire species.
I'm happy to be alive during something like this too, to see it actually happening.
Although the astonishing and chilling extraterrestrial activity in the skies remains shrouded in mystery, the incredible and powerful truth behind the UFO phenomenon is being revealed and accepted, one eyewitness encounter at a time.
In this huge universe with many, many billions, trillions, an infinity of solar system planets, it's very probable and very logical that they could exist.
At this point, when I open my door to walk outside, I look up first. My understanding of things is altered. I'm definitely looking for answers, and I hope that we get them.
To this day, I still look into the skies, and I'm hoping that one day, again, I get to capture it. And I still have my phone on me, close by me, ready to go. Horizontal this time.